thing in all these near-death experiences to go there, or in real death experiences where you don't come back. That's the trick. Near-death experience is fun because you get to come back and talk about it. And then the other ones, it's a long voyage and you got to wait. So, but ultimately, it's just our state of consciousness.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the channel within. I am Mira, and today I am excited to have with me Reverend Bill McDonald. Welcome, Reverend Bill, and thank you so much for being here with me today.
Well, where else would I be? There's only the now. There's only here. So I'm sharing that now and here with you. And yeah, let's just organically let this conversation go where it may. We were talking earlier before you started recording, uh, and we were talking about different people's faith and their religious beliefs, and that's all over the chart, no matter what part of the world you're in, what religious box you're in. Uh, in the end, the only thing that really matters is love. And there's no right way, there's no wrong way. God has no religion. So let's kind of go down that avenue.
Okay, awesome. So for me, my mom loves rituals, loved it, and my dad loved philosophy. And I feel as if I got to see both sides. I was attracted more to the philosophy side. And so if we can talk about, the noise when you remove the noise from religion, the rules, the local rules and regulations, and what is then the essence of religion and spirituality, where, like you said, we are love.
There isn't anything else. But here's the deal. I have what when people come to me, whatever they believe, I don't try to change their belief. They're happy, it brings them comfort. Great. There's a reason they call religion faith. What's your faith? Because it's not what's your science, what's true. It's what's your faith? What do you believe? And what do you believe others have told you that puts you in this box to make you that religious belief? So in the end, I'm very childlike. I am not into this uh, pyramid of you got to do this, you got to do this, and then you get to this level, and it's all about love. And so when it comes to the most mysterious thing for most people is the end of life, quote unquote, life. There is no end of life. There's change of life, but the consciousness, the sum of who, what are we, never changes. And so when death approaches, and I've had 3 near-death experiences, and I've had samadhi experiences, rainbow body experiences, astral travel, all kinds of crazy stuff happen. And what is always common to all those experiences is it's just the change of awareness. It's an awareness thing. But on a near-death experience, and you've interviewed a bunch, there's no period where somebody, boom, they're dead, and then there's where was I for an hour? No, it's an instantaneous melding into the next dimension, place, state of mind, consciousness. What there's no you're going from here and there's the end, there's the darkness, and then you no, there's no it's just it's there. It's instantaneous. So I know in my near death experiences, it was boom, boom. It's there. And the common thing in all these near death experiences to go there, or in real death experiences where you don't come back. That's the trick. Near death experience is fun because you get to come back and talk about it. And then the other ones, it's a long voyage and you got to wait. So, but ultimately, it's just our state of consciousness. It's just opening a door, looking out a window. That's all. And having done it 3 times, I realized that it's like waking from a sleeping dream, which I think kind of epitomizes this whole life. It's like we're dreaming this whole thing, or God is dreaming through us, depending on your point of view. But none of this is real. And I was asked on a Eastern European radio show about 4 or 5 years ago. Well, obviously, Reverend Bill, you believe in reincarnation because they watch some of my videos and stuff. And I go, well, actually, I don't even believe in life. I don't believe in this existence. I don't believe in birth. Therefore, I don't believe in death. And if I don't believe in death and birth, I don't believe in heaven and hell. And and I don't even believe in reincarnation because there's no incarnation. It's it's a dream. And God has given us these beautiful egos where we all think we're individualized, you know, beings separate from the source. It's like taking a drop of the ocean and putting it in a glass someplace, and that thinks I'm a drop, and they forget that no, you're an ocean. No matter how far separated you're always the ocean. So that's kind of philosophically where I take people. And my job in life, we're not here to convert people to think and feel and believe as we are. There's people out there that believe that's their job, that's their religion, that's their obligation. Bless them. It's okay. For me, I'm happy if you're happy. If what you're believing and what you're teaching and what you're living uh, makes you happy, more importantly, does it make other people happy? You know, So the truth of the matter is religion. Let's get down to the basics but it really depends on your family. And so people born in the United States, yeah, good chance they're going to be Christian. People born in India, or people born in Saudi Arabia, they're probably going to be Muslim. So religion is based on what you're exposed to when you're brought into this world. And it's what your family teaches you. And if you want to accept that and never step outside that box of their beliefs, that's okay. It's all right. God don't have religion. It doesn't make any difference. I don't believe that you picked the wrong religion. Now you're going to hell. I'm not into that. It's cultural, social, family, fellowship. So in the Hindu world, oh my God, you got holidays. I mean, how could you not want to celebrate all the holidays? I mean, whoa. And and Christians, well, they got their stuff, and you got baptism, and you got rituals, and you got all. So everybody's got their rituals and things that make them feel good, brings them together in fellowship as a family when there's major events in their life, birth, marriage, death, baptisms, christenings, all these things bring us together, and that's okay. I mean, it really is. If it's there's no wrong choice here. But eventually, I believe, and if you look at the rishis and ascended masters and angelic people around the world and saints and sages, their religious identifications seem to fade. It's they either become a lover of all religions or they embrace no religion, just love. But it's the same. That's what they don't get. It's the same. It's embracing all or embracing none, and it's all just love. It's the same thing. So one should be comfortable if they go into a Catholic mass, if they're going to meditate with a group in a temple or a mosque, or if they want to do a puja, if they want to pray a certain way, it's okay. There's no God up there going to, oh, that's terrible. These people are good. Every religion, and God knows how many tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions of religions there are, uh, they all believe that they have the right answer. And only they. Even a Christian religion, which has, I don't know, in America, I think there's 28,000 different sects of Christianity. But every church and every organization believe they're the ones going to heaven. The others are going to hell. Uh, the Christians, oh, the Muslims and the Hindus and the Buddhists, they're all going to hell because they don't believe in Jesus. I don't think Jesus ever said that. Uh, but it's okay if you just because you believe that doesn't make it a fact or doesn't even make it wrong or sinful. It's okay. People get so tied up, they got to convert everybody, they got to change everybody to what they see, what they believe. And that's one of the problems with the world right now, because politically and through religion, you got to believe our way. You got to be our political party. You got to be our church. You got to be our temple. And everybody else is outside of that instead of it's all God's children. We are one. And when you reach that state of there's only us, not you and I and them, and I'm going to go pray to God because God ain't here, right? Uh, when you wake up one day, literally wake up, and you realize there's nothing outside of yourself. And when you go within, because we're always looking for these answers outside someplace. You got to find a savior. You got to find a guru. You got to find a teacher. You got to find a pope. You got to find a priest. You got to find somebody out there that's going to save you. Same thing when it comes to healing. Oh, I'm sick. So you're looking outside for somebody to be the healer. What everything really is within you. You don't have to go anywhere. Heaven is not someplace far away. I'm going to heaven. I'm praying to God because God's not here. No, the kingdom of God is
God
within.
is within. Yep.
And the cosmos, everything is within. There's nothing outside of you. And if this is just a dream world, it even makes more sense because, like, oh, none of this, no, nothing. This is not reality. The only reality is love. And to me, the scriptures talk about we're all made in God's image. Well, if God is love, we're all made in love, conceived in love, embraced in love. And that's all there is. It's just the essence of that. And we're enjoying this. Some of us are enjoying, some of us are suffering through a lifetime or two or thousands or millions here because we believe this is reality. And in this time, see, time is the thing that separates everything. It's time and space that creates this world we're living in. You take away time, this is a dream. When you put time in it, then you have all these spiritual laws and beliefs and scientific things. Apples fall down, there's gravity, there's, all these interdimensional things. There's heaven, there's hell, there's reincarnation, there's all these things. When in essence, you take away time, none of that's real. There's only the eternal now, this moment. And it's just about feeling, being embraced in that. So I don't expect people to adhere to it because I believe that philosophically doesn't mean people have to accept it. My ego doesn't need that verification from anybody, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't change what the truth may be, what you believe. I tell people, and I used to tell my grandson, he was here yesterday, he's now a junior in college. But when he was little, like 4 or 5 years old, I used to get him and I'd say, Gianni, when you people tell you stuff, people are always telling you stuff. This is their truth, this blah blah. I said, always question everything that you are told. Question it. Don't accept it as fact. Question it. And then he looks at me and he goes, why? Which is the essence of, yeah, okay, he's already questioning me. I'm telling him that, right? So it's all about living this life as if it's real. And if you don't believe it's real, well, I don't believe that wall behind me is solid, that we should be able to walk through it, right? Because my atoms are such. But if I try to walk through that wall, I'm going to break my nose, right? So I always tell these lofty people that are philosophizing like I am right now, I go, well, that's a great philosophy. But you don't tell somebody just lost a son or a daughter or a spouse or, this is all a dream. They don't want to hear it. That's real pain for them. if you're wearing a body of any kind, human body, angelic body, body of light, an orb, a body of whatever it is, you haven't dissolved, you haven't fully awakened to the recognition, the knowing that you are one, that there's only God. And so I tell people, especially people come to me, well, I was Jesus's right hand disciple. I was Mary. I was the Queen of Scots. I was this, and yeah, no, all these. I was this, all that. And I said, and people come to me, well, is that true? That, and I said, since there's only one, then anybody that ever existed is also you. It's all God. So yeah, if somebody wants to believe that, their ego says I'm all these things. Well, you know what? Since we're all just one, then we were all that. Because there's only one dreamer, and he has all these billions of people out here, that individual egos that think that's their own particular dream, when it's all just one. So at some point, you wake up one day and realize that what happens to your neighbor, what happens to your friends and family, what happens to the people you don't know, what happens to your enemy, all affect you at some spiritual organic level. So we start to pick enemies. I don't like this other religious group. I don't like that other country. I don't like that other political party. These are traps. And you end up hating a part of yourself. It's like my hand saying, instead of saying I'm a hand, it's saying, no, I'm a thumb. And that's an index finger. And I hate index fingers. So I'm going to chop it off. Even though it's on the same hand, it's going to hurt me. We are all this one hand. We're all this one blissful, loving consciousness. So to me, it's about consciousness, and that's different than thinking, because we're trying to adapt to all these. If you talk to somebody who had near-death experience, or somebody's had a samadhi experience, or somebody's had an out-of-body experience, and they'll come back and they'll describe it through their material mind, and it's never exactly what happened, because they interpret it through the mind, through the material mind, the experience, and the experience relates to what you can relate to. And that's why when you're doing your near-death interviews with all these people, depending on their religious beliefs and their philosophies, it will reflect on what happened on the other side. Well, I saw Jesus. Oh, great. The Buddha guy didn't see Jesus. And, somebody, a Hindu, you can see all kinds of people. So it's reflected in what you believe and interpreted through your material mind. So experiences are not necessarily always the ultimate truth. So I always tell people, well, when you experience it, believe it. But then I always tell people as well, I look at my life and everything I've experienced and everything, and I'm going, well, I experienced that when I was 18, or I experienced that when I was 35 or 50 or 60 or 70 or 75, whatever. And then looking back on it now, my views on that experience, the wisdom about what took place, my judgments, my insights, all these things are evolving. And if you sit in your total well, this is what I believed at 20, because that was my experience at 20. And now you're 80 and you got to go, no, you've changed, you evolved. Hopefully you evolved. If you're still believing absolutely 100% of everything you believed, 60 years ago or 80 years ago in my life, then you haven't made any progress. You should always be looking at everything anew. And then again, you reach a point you go, it doesn't matter, because you're analyzing it with the material mind. Who cares? That's a thinking process. That's a philosophy process. Who cares? So you get it down to just the basics. Was this experience I had about love or not? It's about love. You don't need to analyze it. Accept the love enjoy, be at peace. And it's like in India, they got that old tradition when you're at the ashram and you have this great samadhi experience and you're one with everything and you come to the guru excited and you go, oh my God, and the guru just goes, settle down, go sweep the porch, go fetch water, go chop wood. And there's a reason that story is valid for thousands and thousands of years because get the mind out of it. You don't analyze spiritual experiences. You enjoy them, accept them, and move on. It's a gift. Let go. When you start analyzing it, and then you start sharing it and analyzing it, and everybody else is analyzing it, it just destroys the whole thing. You're not here to understand. You're just here to experience the gifts that come. Joy, peace. That's the gift of these experiences. Joy, it's peaceful. It's you feel in harmony with everything else. Don't analyze it. It's like, who cares what, why, when, where? So anyway, so I think we started this thing off before we were recording and we were talking about how this affects people's view on death because that's the big mystifier. We come into this world. Well, did we just start in the womb? Or were we someplace before? So that starts that question, right? And then if we were someplace before, were we someplace before that? And were we back here again? And is this a big cycle and a big circle? And anyway, so when it comes to death, people have to have social, what's the word I'm looking for? Social order. They have to feel there's a reason for things, and they have to understand at some level that this is going someplace, and they're lost. Some people, some religious beliefs it's the end until everybody rises up, and where they going to be at for the next thousands of years, who knows? And some other people believe, it's going to be boom, 3 days, and then I'm up and I'm rising. Somebody else, it's a month. Somebody else, it's instantaneous. And they're going to heaven, and they say, "Oh, you committed suicide, you're going to hell, and we got a place for you. You're bad." Um, so we got all these different beliefs, and ministers, we have to deal with these people, and that's not time for philosophy, but it's time just to comfort them. And my job always is take them where they're at. What if they it's not my time when somebody dies in their family to tell them that everything they believe is possibly not right. Maybe this, I believe it's no, not my job. Whatever they believe, if they need a puja, if they need a prayer, if they need a funeral ritual, let them have it. Death rituals are not for the dead, they're for the living. And if they need that to bring them comfort, to feel there's some security in the world, that there's some order in the world, because most people, death kind of shakes them up. They lost their parent. That's like the big first loss, right? You lost a parent, and now what do I do? They're not here. Well, you and I have been around long enough to know, and we've talked to enough people that they ain't gone anywhere. They're still here. And I've lived long enough to know that when you think about others with love, they're within you. They're in heaven someplace. And one thing, there's never a break. They are a part of you as you are a part of them. There's no I and you and them. There's only us. And us is not plural, it's singular. It's just us. And call it a family, whatever you want to call it. But that's the one thing that churches and religions provide, which is a good, valuable things. You become a community of like beliefs, and so there's a comfort in that. And you celebrate the same holidays and the same celebrations, and good. What's wrong with that? Who wants to knock that? I mean, it's like, come on. And even if you think you've outgrown your family's religions, I tell people, go to the celebrations. Be a part of it. You know, don't just because you've moved on, don't judge them. And eventually you reach the point where no matter what religious house of God you go into, Buddhist, Zen temple, church, it doesn't matter. You can sit and be with those people because they're communicating with what they believe is a higher source. They're talking to God their own way. And I think that's a beautiful thing. So to me, I'm looking at organized religions where they got events for the family and the children, and they got ceremonies. We have a society, a culture, mankind always has been about rituals. Some caveman sitting around a fire, and the fire became a ritual. And then you tell stories from the past around the fire, and those things became legends and myths. And eventually, all that became religion. It's like, oh, here's Adam and Eve. Well, where did it start? Well, I was sitting around a fire. Who's the first human beings? So we've created all this, and it's okay. No judgment. So that probably makes me a bad minister because I talk to people of all faith. I don't see that as a barrier. And I brought that point home. I was in the Czech Republic in October of this last year. And they got invited by this actress lady, which I did something with her the previous year. I was on her podcast. And she did a play. There was like four actors on a stage. And it was sold out. There wasn't an empty seat in this theater. It was sold out. I was the second act. The first act was a play about these Czechoslovakian martyrs and people that during the communist time were killed or persecuted, because practicing the religion and practicing poetry and all that stuff. And so it was a spiritual play. I had no idea what was going on because it was all in the Czech language. And then the second act was me, and she was going to interview me and take questions. And she goes, during the intermission, between acts, she goes, these people, they're probably not your audience. I go, what do you mean? She says, well, the Czech Republic, that's according to the United Nations, that has the world's highest percentage of atheists. Who knew, right? I didn't know that 80% of the people in the Czech Republic do not believe in God.
Wow.
That's a big number, right? And so these people, this is not your audience. I said, okay. So I get up there and I get an interpreter. And the first question I ask everybody is, I said, everybody raise your hand if you believe in love. Everybody raise their hands. I looked around and I go, okay, we believe in the same God. All right, end of story. Move on. I was only supposed to talk for about 30, 40 minutes. I ended up talking 2 hours. Then it was over. Nobody wanted to leave the theater. They were hungry for the message that God is just about love. And they weren't into this whole organizational thing of religions. So they weren't really anti-God. You would think atheists are anti-God. No, it's just they're saying, oh, we don't believe in this God sitting on a throne and he's got a white beard and he's got long hair and he's your father and he watches everything you do. If you've been good or bad, just like Santa Claus, he knows everything you've done. And he's going to punish you or, you're going to go to hell or you're going to go to, I mean, a lot of atheists don't accept that. Okay. But the concept that we're created in love and it's just about love. And so why would an atheist be a good person if they don't believe in God? They're not worried about going to hell, but they know being a good person is a righteous, divine thing to do, regardless if they believe there's a God or not. I believe in the force and the power of the divine consciousness. Now, if you visualize a guru or a Jesus or a Buddha or a man or a woman, a God. It doesn't matter because people have a hard time thinking about the divine without having some sort of image.
Yeah.
And India is probably the biggest example that there's images of every aspect of God. There's God, the destroyer and the preserver and the and all this kind of the creator and then there's there's an elephant guy with an elephant head. Then there's this other guy and and people that are not Hindus, Christians go, look at these people. They worship all these gods like they're all different, right? And I'm going, no, they're worshiping the aspect of God, the God of love, the goddess, or whatever it is, or but the deep yogis, the ones that you talk to in the Himalayas, which I have, they don't see millions of gods. They see everything as God. So that's different. It's different. I went into let's see, about a trip, 2004. I was hiking through the Himalayas with a friend, and we come to this little village, this little mountain area, and there was a Buddhist temple, very modest, small temple, sitting on a hillside. And I go in there, and it was just a guy sweeping the floor with one of those straw brooms. And it was clean, it was nice. And there's a Buddha up on the altar. There's a Buddha, and everything. And I'm hiking. I'm tired. I'm an old guy, at that time I was in my 70s. I was an old guy. And I'm tired. And so I stretched my legs out, and my God, they were facing, bottoms of my feet were facing the altar, the Buddha. And this little guy with the broom comes over, he starts beating me on the head with it. How dare you? Your feet are facing God. So and I've been waiting my whole life to give this to somebody. So it was like the perfect fit. I go, this is a great story to tell later. But I look at the guy and I go, sir, tell me where God is not, and I'll place my feet that direction.
I love that.
And so the guy goes, and he left, right? Where's God not? So if you believe in this divine consciousness, you call it Christ consciousness, super consciousness, cosmic consciousness, it doesn't matter. I call it love. And that is absolutely everything. And people look at me like, what do you mean God's everything? God a mountain? Yeah. Is God a star? Yeah. Is God a dog? Yeah. God is you and me? Yep. Show me what is not God. If it's all made in his image, it's all made from love, what is not God? That's a harder question to say than what is God. What is not God? And I got attacked here, just recently, I think it was last week, somebody, how dare you, Reverend Bill? I was listening to your one of your podcast interviews, and you're talking nice about Hindus and their beliefs in all these gods, and God is everywhere and all that. Well, you're going to go to hell with the devil's in you, and I'm going. So some people don't get it. They don't get it. Again, it doesn't abide with what they were raised to believe. But if you simplify it down to the most simple terms, it's just, who do you love? Who do you love? Not who loves you, because if you're rich and famous, everybody loves you. You're a celebrity, everybody loves you. So there's public figures that are worshipped. It's okay. But don't get lost in this maze of delusion. And so in the end, I tell people the only thing that matters is not who loves you, because that can be influenced by all kinds of things. In fact, if you're a good parent and your son or daughter is doing heavy drugs and they're stealing money from you and they're not leading a good life, you cut them off and say, boom, get your act together. You're not coming back in this house when you're off drugs. That's the right thing to do. And the child will hate you for that. So if you die, that child hates you. Doesn't love you, hates you because you want that kid to get off drugs. You want him to get sober. You want him to do something with their life. And then if you're another parent, you give the kid everything they want. Well, the kid likes you, or loves you, whatever. So it's not Who loves you? In the end, it's who do you love? Who did you love? Did you love those that didn't love you back? Did you love your enemies? Anybody can love somebody if it's reciprocated. Oh, I love you. You love me back. Great. That's what happens to marriages. Then one day your partner doesn't love you so much anymore. So it's like, well, I don't love you then. I only love you if you love me, right? So you should be able to love everybody. You don't have to like anybody, but you got to love everybody. There's a difference. Liking means, you know, what they're doing. You like what they're doing. You like who they are as a person. No, I'm saying love them because they are, remember we talked about the pinky, the thumb, it's all one hand, right? You love them because they are you. It is us. But you don't have to like what that aspect of you is doing. You don't have to like that they're hurting people. You don't have to like they're this crazy politician dividing the country, or, you know, they're killing people or robbing people or cheating. Nothing to do with it. Love everybody, but liking is a whole different thing. So in the end, you come to this world and it's not to be loved, it's to love. You're here not to be understood, but to give understanding to those that need it. You're not here to get anything. You're here to give what you got. And if that sounds like St. Francis of Assisi, which is a beautiful philosophy, yeah, because what he said basically was, it's in the giving that you get. That's a huge thing. And people should really listen to that because it is really about giving and giving and giving. If you're giving something to get something, like, well, I give this, now it's in the newspapers, and everybody knows I'm this great philanthropist and I'm giving money away and I'm this great person, and you've already got your gift. Don't expect anything from that. But if you're giving from the heart and it's just pure, you want nothing in return, that's pure. So people ask me, well, Bill, why are we here? And you know, and people think, well, it must be successful. What is successful? I don't think Jesus ever told people to go out and be successful. I don't think Buddha told people to go be successful. I mean, he was successful already. He had a kingdom, right? And Buddha's out there throwing all his money away. Was that success? Success is chasing something that you are not, and you're always looking to become something successful. That's not what we're chasing. That's not what it's about. We're here to become, to be us. And the real us is love. So you're here in this world to enjoy, to be, to share, to give, whatever that may reflect. And if you're happy being a salesman in a store or a janitor or the CEO, it doesn't matter what you do for a living. It doesn't. Everything is service. So it really gets down to you leading your life by intentions. What is your intention? Why are you doing this for that person? If you're doing it because you really want to get in, you know, and you want something from eventually from them and their gratitude or something, no. Everything should be given to the divine presence within everyone else. That's what I like about India. The divine in me bows to the divine in you, the God in me, the
Namaste.
right, namaste. Think about that, truly. Because your enemy also, you bow to your enemy as well, because the God within you is within them as well. Equally. There's no like, I, I'm more spiritual than they are. What's this more? Nobody's more spiritual than anyone else. If we're all one and we're living in the eternal now, see, the trouble is we're in time and space. And in time and space, we have reincarnation. We have multiple facets of life. We have beginnings and ends and new beginnings. And the truth is only now. And in the now, we're totally awake. We are God. I think it's wrong when people go around and say, I am God, because it sounds really terrible. But when you say, we are God, that's a whole different thing. It's inclusive. No, it's we are God.
As a child, I used to think that God was a tyrant because I used to think I'm being recycled here. And for what purpose? As I got older, I realized that maybe he has eternity to play with, so he's witty and he's playing this game of hide and seek with us, hiding inside of us so that we can find him. And that is when you talked about why we here, it reminded me of my what I used to believe, what I'm grappling with. So can you help unpack that a little bit?
Yeah, it's if you believe religions, pick any one you want.
Mm-hmm.
All religions believe you got all-knowing God. Well, if God knows everything and he's fair, it's all about justice, and he's fair, even taking into the consideration reincarnation. We got an all-knowing God. So what do people do if God knows everything and they got great faith? They sit down when they pray to God, because God ain't here, they're praying to God. They tell God what their problems are. And they tell God to solve these problems because they don't deserve these problems. Why am I get rid of this cancer? And get rid of this problem I have. And they tell God the problems. And I'm thinking, well, if you really truly believe that God is all knowing, then it's a breach of faith to tell God and to ask for a healing because God already knows and God don't make mistakes. So whatever you're dealing with, that's your gift, not a punishment. It's a gift. So it's burning up karma. It's doing something. It's teaching you something. It's giving you something. It's your gift. Your job is just to find out, oh, what's this cancer? What's the gift of cancer? What is he talking about? And I'm going, no. Because usually when you get cancer, serious cancer, what happens? You go within. Now you start looking at your spiritual life. It's a short end of life, and all of a sudden you're being kinder and nicer to people. You should be. Some people go the other way. But these things happen to you for a reason. But when you treat the all-knowing God like he doesn't know nothing, and you treat God like a Santa Claus when you pray, God, I got to get to work, so therefore I need a Mercedes Benz, and you tell them exactly what kind of car you want, and you spend time manifesting in your mind how you're going to create all these things to make you happy, chasing things. We have this belief that God is Santa Claus, and we go to Santa Claus and we give all our problems, and God's going to take them away. I pray because I'm playing to God and I are one, right? So I'm just talking to me. Give me the tools I need. Give me the wisdom I need. Bring the people into my life that will teach me and help me to get through this. But don't take away my problems. That's the gift. Solving these problems is a gift. Because I solve these problems, I've grown. I've changed. I've learned something. I've become something more spiritual. Instead of I'm a victim. If God knowed I had cancer and how much pain I had, he would take it away. And God helped my 98-year-old grandma, save her. I get, oh, River Bill, can you send prayers for my grandma? She's 98 years old and she's dying. We love her. We want her. So I always say I'm sending prayers, but I don't tell people. No, they'll watch this now. What I don't tell people is I'm sending for a transition. Bring her peace. Bring her love. Bring her comfort while she's going. Help her family. I don't go to God and say, God, you're taking this 98-year-old woman and now she's going to die in the pinnacle of her life. What's going on with you? How dare you? No, it's because people, they treat God like God is the ultimate parent. They never look at that divine source as themselves. You're in charge. You manifest absolutely everything that happens to you in your life. Everything. Through your actions, through your words, through your beliefs, karma, what you eat, what you digest, like in movies and bad books and internet, watching crazy, all that stuff absorbs and becomes a part of you. And that manifests the life that unfolds for you. Just because you can't see how it all connects over lifetimes and lifetimes, then you look at it as like, I'm a victim. I don't just, why is all this happening? Why am I getting divorced? What's that? Everything is connected and there's a reason. That's one level. The next level is, well, since this whole life is not even real, it's just a dream, there ain't no karma. How could you have karma in a dream? It never happened. Nobody got killed. Nobody did this. Nobody did. And and then ultimately you wake up. But here's the thing. Since all time is now, and we're all trapped in this now, right now, focused here, the past you of thousands of years ago, millions of years ago, and the past, the forward you all the way thousands of millions of years, simultaneously is all happening. So therefore, focusing on where you're at now, in this material world, and making the best of you now through meditation, through good works, through all this good stuff, right? You evolve your past karma because you're changing you in the past as well as now, and you're also changing yourself in the future. So if whatever focus, because right now, if you change the channel, the energy, you and I could be talking 3 lifetimes from now or going backwards. It's all happening right now. That's the part they don't get. It's the eternal now. But we have an element called time. That's the material world. There's time. In this time, there's a linear, you go from point A to point B. We're in truth. When you take a time out of the equation, there's only now. And the only now, we are God. So, well, we're suffering for millions and billions of years. We're trapped in this thing through lifetime. No, there's no, if the times got there, you never were trapped. It was just God having a dream. You know? End of story. The real question the philosophers do is this. Well, it's all God having a dream. Why is he putting us all through this? How much pleasure could he have watching wars and terrible stuff? And anyway, why? Well, sometimes the divine has to create a play, a movie, and to experience itself and experience these. How can it experience anything if it is everything? So it has these dreamers. We all think we're separate. So I hope we're entertaining the divine because that's us. Some of us are in this, caught up in this now. We're going, no, thank you very much. I'd like to exit. Truth of the matter is, nobody becomes enlightened before you do. It says it's all now. We all wake up at the same time. God wakes up and go, oh yeah, I just tripped 1 trillion years. It's that was nice, but no, even that's the dream. It's just stuff. It's all just stuff. So, but why we're here trapped in this dream? You want to make yourself comfortable. You want to be noble, ethical, loving, all these things. Not because you're afraid of going to hell or you want to go to heaven, just because you're reflecting the highest and the best of the divine consciousness. And by doing so, you're helping others to wake up as well as yourself. And that's all that we're here to, just waking each other up. But see, like we're talking like we're separate. You know, there's you, male, female, Indian, American. No, there's just us. It's us. And we get a whole group of people doing something spiritual, religious together. People go, oh, it feels so good in a church. Yes, it does. It feels good in the synagogue. It feels good in a temple feels good. Anywhere you go where there's religious people practicing love. Now, if you're going to an organization that is planning on killing others because they don't believe as they do, I think you got to look at that and say something's wrong with this organization. We're ready to kill the people that don't believe like we are. Okay, so another step, but that's all growth. But you don't look at others as separate from you. Governments do that. Religions do that. They all have to have somebody that's not you, that's the enemy. You know, Arabs, they got to hate the Jews, black and white and red party and blue party. And I'm going, holy Toledo. But if you got this greater view, that's just reflections of the one, like show me where God is not. So I'm telling you, look at all these other people, show me where God does not dwell in them as well. They're all now, and I'm saying that, and I used to be a volunteer chaplain at Folsom Prison. You know, the one stuck in Folsom Prison, right? The old song about the jail. Very, very bad place. Murderers. And I had a whole group of murderers I was working with. I mean, they're all murderers. I mean, rape, kill, slash, bad, bad. But I saw the God in them. And I was locked up with these guys. I had 22 of them, I think, in a room once. No guards for 2 hours.
So
And
when you say you saw them, you mean physically or inside or felt it?
it's all the above. In other
Mhm.
words, I see in all the divine. So I'm no threat to them. I'm in a room with them and there's no weapons. I don't have a radio to call out. They told me, well, we'll come back 2 hours. We're going to lock this door. The chapel's going to be locked down. And this is with a bunch of guys that 2 months before had snuck razor blades in and they cut up the chaplain before he got his face all cut up. So these are not nice guys. I got through, they were crying. They were telling me about their childhoods. And then when they get ready, the guards go unlock it and everything. The big tough guys go, if any of you guys say anything about what happened in here, I'm gonna kill you, right? And then they go out there like the real tough guys. But in there, they were like babies. To me, they came like children. They became childlike. And I'm gonna tell you right now, even this guy killed 9 guys, actually women, killed 9 women, and terrible, terrible deeds. Uh, he still wanted a hug. He never got a hug as a child. I listened to his story, never got a hug. Parents treat, so you go, he's still reaching out to be loved, to be understood. And he's done all these terrible things that people go, oh my God, lock him up. And in his own mind, I deserve to be locked up. I'm a terrible person. Imagine thinking about yourself as, I'm this terrible, evil person. And they have acted like that lifetime. But I'm giving them a softer message, really, is like, when you wake up each day, oh, you got karma. You're not going to escape that. But you wake up each day, you wherever you want to be. Every day is new. Choose not to be that old you. And that's where I was trying to take these guys because, I mean, I'm still teaching them don't kill, don't steal, the basic 10 commandments. But I left her and I'm thinking, they want to be understood. They want to be understood. How many people go through their life seeking to be hugged and understood? And they don't get that. And then it sets off all these things. Of course, they're not victims. They just, karma, you can show it all connects. They created this future. They created their now. But even knowing that, my heart is all about loving them. And they could feel that. No judgment. They could feel it. And I meant it. Now, do I want them released from jail? No, stay locked up because they're still dangerous, right? But do I want them to be loved? Yes. Even they need to be loved. And when you awaken that up with that spirit within them, that the divine also can be expressed through them, not just the evil, negative darkness, but the light is there too. So as a minister, our job really is take people wherever they're at and move them towards greater light, whatever that may be for them. Moving them away from the darkness. And that's really the name of the game. And when you look at your life, it's always a question, because my children, when they were young, and my grandchildren most especially, well, how do you know if you're doing the right thing, wrong thing? I'm making decisions, right? And I said, well, is it taking you closer to the light? The light is love. Or is it taking you to the darkness, and that's hate and anger and, and meanness and all these other things? So take a look at a sliding scale. You do this little white lie. Is it taking you closer to the light or closer to the dark? Maybe in the gray area. But ultimately, it's going to move you towards the light or it's going to move you towards the dark. So that's why I taught small children to make it, ethical. To say, well, is it going to hurt somebody? Well, that's towards the darkness. Is it going to make somebody feel better? That's towards the light. You make it simple. And if you hang around me long enough, you'll come up one day and you'll say, Reverend Bill, you're so childlike, like it's an insult. I go, yes, thank you. Because I am childlike and I see God like a child would. It's really, God loves me. The divine loves me because I love me. And I'm teaching people to love themselves as they would love God. And when you love God, you're loving yourself. And when you're loving yourself and you're loving God, you're loving your family, you're loving your neighbors, you're loving your enemies as yourself. Whoa. But it all starts with self-love.
I think that's a misnomer that it's selfish to love ourselves. But, even Buddha said we are deserving of all the love that we're giving others. And thank you for that beautiful reminder. Um, in terms of this being a dream, that gentleman behind you, Paramhansa Yogananda, I read that he said that we're in God's dream. And so, even our nursery rhyme that we learn when we're little, row, row, row your boat, life is but a dream. And when we are dreaming, we're able to exceed limitations that we put on ourselves when we are in the awakened state. And so, what tools can you give us to be awakened from the dream?
First off, I tell young people, never take yourself so serious. People, adulthood should not be so serious. And adulthood is greatly oversold. Always be childlike. Child, you know what? You don't have to teach child how to love. And they know love when they see it. You don't tell a baby doesn't have to be taught this is what love feels like. And a child knows they're being loved or not. It's within us. So first order of business is stop being so damn important. You got to be the adult and have all the intellectual answers to everything. When we work with the intellect and everything's analyzed, oh, that wasn't a miracle. You find 20,000 reasons why it's scientifically it's this or that. That's the mind working. You're never going to find the God questions answers through the human conscious material mind. It's only when you're in a mindless God state that you'll know the answers, but then you won't even ask. It's just a knowing, right? You don't have, yeah, it's all good, right? So I tell people you have to have silence in your life as often as you can, daily, nightly, whenever. People, even in their meditations, are not silent because they're analyzing their meditation as they're doing it. Let's see, breath is going up. I feel hot, cold, whatever. I got this mantra I'm chanting. I got to remember how is that 108? Is that 144? How many have I just done? So you got that going on and you're visualizing what it looks like. So the mind is always working, even when you're doing these great things with great meditations. Great meditations are good. The best meditation is after you finish with all the physical, you're doing Kriya, you're doing Om, you're doing Hang Sa, whatever you're doing. It's when you finish this conversation with you, everything that's going on in your mind, when you sit there and absorb the silence and just sit in love with the divine love, not asking for anything, not praying, God, give me, no, just, I love you. I love you, Jesus. I love you, Buddha. It doesn't matter. I love you. Just, and ask for nothing. If you're meditating for self-realization, God realization, for enlightenment, for cities, you want to be able to walk through a wall, astral travel, read minds. You're doing something wanting a gift back. Do things just because you love God. So when the real meditation is after you do all this other stuff. If you do an hour of Kriya Yoga, let's say, for those that understand what I'm talking about, sit for an hour or two. Silence. All the power and everything is then. See, otherwise you're just spending all your time, you're praying, you're talking to God, you're doing these things, you're talking, your mind is working. So I tell people, what can I do? I said, well, in Zen, they used to just tell people, go sit and stare at the wall. They didn't say, don't think about this, because that's what you'll think about. And then don't do these chants and all these things. It'll be in your mind, be chattering. They just say, just sit. Just don't work on the thoughts. Just don't not think, don't think. Just sit. Silence. It's in the silence that wisdom comes. It's in the silence that we spiritually grow. In the silence, our frequency expands. Our vibrations change. Listening to the divine is the ultimate communication. Otherwise, you're just talking. Your mind is just talking. But you can't learn anything if you're talking. You only learn in the silence. So the thing I would tell everybody is, even if you can't meditate, and people go, oh, everybody claims, oh, I can't meditate, it's hard. It's hard for everybody. It's like you're not anybody special. Trust me, everybody struggles with that monkey mind. But if you just sit quietly, now for some people that may be just go sit on the beach, watch the waves. Pretty soon you're not there anymore. There was back in the 1400s, 1200s, 1300s, back when the early Christian monks, the Catholic Church, and they practice a meditation. They take a picture of Jesus, not a photo. Everybody thinks it's a photo. That's a photo. No, that's a drawing. Anyway, get a picture of Jesus, and they put it on their little altar table, whatever, in a dark room. They put a candle lit next to it. And they would just stare at the face. Well, same thing would work with yoga, not in this picture. You sit there and you stare at it, stare at the picture. In fact, the one on that, my hands are mixed up. But anyway, the other side of my face there, you'll see him staring at that picture. It comes alive. The eyes become alive. They follow you. Sitting 15, 20 minutes without trying to blink, trying to stare in the dark with just a little light on any holy object. Pick anything you want. Doesn't matter. And that brings silence to your mind. And just like if you got Jesus, it's like the monks would just go, I love you, Jesus. That would be their mantra. I love you, Jesus. See, and I was teaching some Christians this. I didn't call it a mantra. I just said, well, this inner prayer, because they were happy with, oh, I love you, Jesus. If I told them that was a mantra, it's like, oh my God, I'm practicing a mantra. I'm in cahoots with the people in India. What's going on here? Mantras, it's all just a language. So staring at a religious image and knowing that's just a representation. If you're really spiritual, that's just a representation. But it's hard to stare at the consciousness, the bliss of nothing. We're not there yet. At least most people aren't there. Like, we have to visualize something. So if you visualize an aspect of the divine, whatever that may be to you, then it focuses your mind. The chatter silences. And all of a sudden you go from talking, thinking, breathing to not even knowing if you're breathing, to not thinking about it and not analyzing it. And you're there for maybe an hour and it feels like it was a minute or two. And you like, my back, did I fall asleep? What happened? Right. So when you reach that point where time kind of, dissipates a little bit, because you can be gone for an hour or two and not even know it. Right. So when you get to that point, you're actually then being absorbed into and feeling the presence of that divine consciousness. You've opened the windows and the doors, and you need that to function sanely in this world, because trying to face everything that's going on right now in this world, you'll go crazy. And the end of the world's coming. We got World War III. We got all these crazy people. We got, no, we always have love. Love is like this river that flows through time and space. It's a river of love, but it's always flowing back to the light, the source. And it may look like things are terrible. It may look like the end of the world's coming and think, but it's all bringing you farther down the river, getting closer to the light. And that's what you got to remember. So just because things look bad doesn't mean they are bad. Just because you got cancer and you're dying, it's not the end of your world. Just because you go into a divorce, not the end of your life. So whatever you're facing, your thoughts should be, what is the gift? What's the gift I'm giving? What gift have I been given? What is life revealing to me? What is it? What am I going to get out of this experience? Right? That's all it's about. And hopefully the experience, you find that gift. Otherwise you end up shattered because you think you're a victim and you go back to, I don't deserve this. Take it away. As soon as you tell God, take it away, you didn't deserve it, then you're saying, I'm a victim. I didn't manifest. You manifest 100% of everything that happens in your life. Now, if you're this great saintly being, Buddha, Christian, St. Francis, name any, all the great ones, they took on karma and pain and suffering like Jesus did for others. Jesus didn't deserve to be sitting up there in that cross. It wasn't his karma to be nailed to a cross and speared and taunted and, go through all those hours of pain and suffering. But his love for others, he took that on. So that's the great story. And the great story also was, on the cross, he forgave those that were killing him, tortured him. Part of Christianity, they don't quite get the full message that he's forgiving all these people. And it's like, that's the great message. It's about forgiveness. His whole life was about forgiveness. So from a Christian point of view, Jesus' message was about forgiveness. Buddha came to us and said, suffering's a gift. And it's through pain and suffering that you'll transition. It's like heating up the metal and pounding it with a hammer to make a sword, right? That will make you greater spiritual being, higher energy. You're going to escape that way. So each little savior, quote unquote, that coming through to the world. And there's ones that we never will know about. They don't have millions of followers on Facebook. Uh, each adds their energy and their personal message. So there hasn't been one messenger for the whole planet. There's messengers, each having a message. And so periodically, I mean, think about the energy. Let's take Jesus. 2,000 years ago, he lives a life. Whether the life written about it in the Bible is right, wrong, indifferent, forget all that argument. His life, let's just look at his life. His frequency and his vibration was so strong that he affected those people in his own time. And 2,000 years later, his energy of love and forgiveness is still bringing tears and joy and peace and love to others. Right? I mean, we look at history, we look at Alexander the Great and all the Genghis Khan and all these great conquerors that killed and conquered the world, and that energy didn't do anything for us. But Jesus and Buddha, Krishna, whoever do you think is a religious spiritual being? These people gave us something. And then there's the great, great beings who never left the cave that we don't even know who they are, that today their energy is keeping us from blowing ourselves apart with atomic weapons. You know, think about that. 80 plus years ago, 81 years ago, we dropped atomic bombs. We've had the ability to destroy our planet. And yet, as crazy as this planet is, there hasn't been another atomic bomb exploded on anybody. That's more than a miracle. That is truly a frequency and energy of love that it's like somebody's holding it all down. That's, people don't think about that. Oh, the end of times is terrible. No, these are the best of times. It's a good time for a young person to be born. They're born to bring us through this. Everybody's born to a different time. For those of us baby boomer generation, were born. I was in the womb when the atomic bombs were going off, right? So I'm born, the war's over, right? But I was there when it was being blown apart, you know, and inside. So you kind of, yeah, you're on the planet. And we faced a lot of different things, the Vietnam War and all the stuff we've gone through. And everybody looks at this, the new people, these kids. I have so much faith and love for this next generation, the young generation out there. Those kids born 1998, 2000 on, they're special souls coming into this world. And look at the crap they're taking on, and look at the gift we've given them. We spent all their money. They got nothing. I mean, we spent their money. United States, we got so much debt. We spent their money for generations, right? They're going to find a way to clean this planet up. Their young scientists will come and find ways to clean the water, clean the air. And people are going to start turning away from the demigods, the dictators, the haters, the people that divide and tell us to hate these other people because they're not us. I think right now it looks bad because we're tearing the normal old stuff up. The walls are coming down. We're changing institutions. We're rattling cages, and some bad people doing bad things. Well, that will always be the case. But it's those people with high energy and high frequency. And it doesn't take a lot of them. They're going to change the overall direction of where we're going. So we don't need 60% of the people or 50% of the people. We just need this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5% high frequency people in the world. That's all it takes. Because our frequency is so high that we're going to evolve on the backs of these people. Their energy is going to take us to the next level.
I really love that message because you can see how the young children are coming in and how special they are. They don't understand racism, that you don't like someone for the color of their skin. And with that in mind, you dropped a gem in there earlier on when you talked about if we have a body of any kind, whether angelic, etc., that we are not fully awakened. Now, and I love how you talked about the water, and we are cup of water, we are the water, non-dualism, dual versus dualism. So are we aspiring to merge with the divine?
There are spirits and souls amongst us that have gone through the rainbow. They've gone through the whole thing. They've awakened. They've been absorbed. But they still, the God that's speaking through them can't abandon his children.
Can you define that really quickly, the rainbow
Well,
beings?
there are certain souls that you can call them ascended masters, you can call them rishis, you can call them saints, sages, it matters not. But there's certain souls that when they leave this plane of existence, they go back to the rainbow. They're part of this rainbow body family. And this one rainbow body, which I've spoken of myself, they're here to help promote the spiritual evolutionary journey of this planet and this galaxy or whatever. And they keep coming back. There's 144,000, if that number sounds familiar from the Bible. 144,000 of them working for Babaji. I don't think I've revealed that before, so there's something new for you. But they come back periodically, incarnate, because they get worn out down here. This is a hard life. And when you go from a rainbow body, this essence of love, to a material body, it's a very painful life. They come in and their memories wiped clean. They don't know who, what, where they are, don't even know their missions at first. They go through a lot of pain and suffering as a regular person. And towards the end of that journey, whatever it may be, it's revealed. They find out, they know, and they leave their gift. And that group is working on the spiritual evolution, not revolution, spiritual evolution of this plane that we're on. Now, there are other rainbow souls that are developing music. The great ones come through once in a while, and they just great music. What would spiritual life be without the vibration of music? The planet to evolve needs music and art and science. Great thinkers. And so there's other rainbows that are working on art, science, music, that stuff, because that's part of evolution. Rainbow body I'm talking about that is strictly for the spiritual, because there's people working on medical breakthroughs, but it's all one consciousness. So it's all coming from the same source. And so when it comes to music, you listen to these guys who write, even Paul McCartney and these guys that go, yeah, I had a dream. I woke up and I had this song in my head. And they thought maybe it's somebody else's song. I was listening to an interview with him when he had this song he wrote, and it was 6 months later before he finally recorded it, because he kept thinking somebody else must have done this already because it was in his head, right? And then no, it's not. Then he finally recorded it, and nobody had recorded it. And when we're in that altered state, a deep sleep, meditative state, a daydream state, a nap, like a lot of these inventors, like Thomas Edison, would take a nap, 15 minutes, wake up, and then he'd invent something, right? All these great ones is when their mind went silent, and in that silence, ideas and things came. But the truth of the matter is, they're all coming from the same source. And that's why when somebody invented a light bulb, there was people in 10 different countries all working on a light bulb at the same time. And radio, there's a bunch of guys all working at the same. It just matter who filed the patent first, but they were all had the idea together. So it's like the 100 monkey theory. Now, if you don't know familiar with that, it's like in Japan, they had this island and these monkeys, they observed these monkeys, they were isolated from all these other monkeys. And when one got a stick and in 6 months, they learned to use tools. These monkeys learned to use sticks as tools. And then they observed around the world, the monkeys all around the world were all doing that, even though they weren't in direct contact with these monkeys on the island. But it was like their consciousness. If 100 monkeys learn to do this, evolve, then the whole species does. Now think about that. So with the human beings, if we learn to love and increase our frequency and our vibration, it's like the 100 monkey rule. Well, that love spreads even to those places that were not there. And that's why when I do my retreats and my lectures and my talks around the world, and other people haven't attended, they're not attending in order. There's new people all the time. When I show up at there, I take my lecture and what I'm saying to the next level based on where I was. I'm stepping them each up. Even though this group didn't attend the last 3 years, they're just starting here and they're getting it. And I'm talking about these higher concepts and they're getting it. And I don't even get the arguments anymore. It's like I'm having conversations like we had right now. And it's like normally 10 years ago, I would have had 1,000 emails and people jumping on me like, oh my God. And now it's like, yeah, okay, what's new? Like, yeah, okay, yeah. People know it intuitively now. They suspected it, they felt it. They need somebody to verbalize it and say, oh, here, try this. Oh, I guess I knew that all along. Yes, you did. Because I'm not teaching you anything new. I'm just reawakening within you and having you remember what you already knew. But I can only take in order. We got to move people together. And so I am a great believer in the young generation. Talk about the 100 monkey theory, right? Because as we older people are learning this stuff, it's through osmosis. They're getting it. They don't have to go through all the trials, tribulations to get there that I did. And I am a believer in the future as a positive, loving future. The earthquakes and California is going to fall apart, and the World War III. Yeah, of course, some of these things are going to happen. Yeah, of course. But mankind is evolving and changing and surviving, and we're developing and discovering greater love and frequency.
Reverend Phil, thank you so much. Do you have a final message, blessing for those listening?
In the end, everybody's evolving upward. And some people need that message from that person at that level. They got a dead child, and this person, materializes a seance for them or something. And I go, well, you know what? Everybody's where they're supposed to be. And that is called love and not judging. And if you can learn not to be judgmental about person's religious beliefs or anything else, your life will become easier and more loving.